Wait for the flip, and Jesus, doesn't that look good, man? Check that out. So y'all stay tuned because I'm going to show y'all how to turn this pork shoulder into a pulled pork barbecue sandwich. Let's start by preparing the grill. We want to thin out that charcoal so we can get a nice even heat for the pork shoulder to go on. We also want to throw in some apple charcoal briquettes, and then we're going to follow that up with some apple barbecue smoked wood chips. This is going to leave a nice smoky flavor for the pork. So while the oven's heating up, let's go ahead and start working on that pork shoulder rub. We want to start off with 2 tablespoons of light brown sugar. Not harsh, not little, not medium, not mild. Light. And then we want to add 3 tablespoons of cayenne pepper for that spiciness. And then we want to add 2 tablespoons of kosher salt because it is salty like the ocean. And then you want to add 2 tablespoons of garlic powder. I love garlic powder. Do you like garlic powder, or was that onion powder? That was actually onion powder. And now you want to add 2 tablespoons of my favorite thing in the world, black pepper. It could honestly use 3, but we're only going to use 2. And then you want to follow up with 1 tablespoon of garlic powder. And then you want to do 1 tablespoon of chili powder. And then you want to go ahead and follow that up with 1 tablespoon of ground cumin. Whatever that is, I don't know, but it said add it. And then it wants us to add ground mustard. What is ground mustard? You can ground mustard. I didn't even know mustard was a powder, but apparently it is. And we're going to use our finger to mix up the seasoning because apparently in high speed, it looks like a very good mixer. So as you can see, we have 2 picnic-sized pork shoulders. They equal up to about 4 pounds combined. I'm going to go ahead and start opening these things up, start cutting off those little pieces of fat. There's really not much fat with this, as you can tell, but on the back, we went ahead and tried slicing a grid. At this point, I realized my knives are not sharp, and I need to sharpen them. I ended up changing knives, and that didn't work too well. I ended up using it like a freaking skill saw, but whatever. Let's go ahead and throw that rub on there. You want to get it into every little crevice that you can because remember, seasoning is flavor. So just add as much as you can. I could get it everywhere. The same thing on the other one. Flip it over. Get it everywhere. Good gosh, I really mixed it in, didn't I? Okay, come on, get on with it. All right, that leftover seasoning, no need to waste it. Go ahead and throw it in a bag. Why not? Use it for a steak maybe. So let's go ahead and take the pork shoulder outside, open up the grill. As you can tell, the smoker is working. At this point, you probably noticed the PB blaster, but do you also notice that handle underneath the plate? Yeah, if you turn that clockwise or counterclockwise, it raises and lowers that charcoal grill. It's amazing, but the problem I'm having is the thing goes squeak, squeak, so we needed to get rid of the squeaking, and we used a PB blaster, and it worked phenomenal. Guess what? It doesn't squeak no more. It's very nice. It's very nice. Hey, and y'all gotta remember, I found this $300 smoker out by a dumpster. I got a free smoker, and we're cooking a freaking pork brisket out of it, man. This is awesome. So this is about 30 minutes later, and I'm realizing the temperature is going down. So I want to open it up and see if we can get some more airflow, but then I realized that's not working. I got a little bit closer, and I realized there's a hole at the bottom of that charcoal rack, and it's causing all the charcoal to fall through the bottom. And this was a problem for me because now the temperature is fluctuating because all the charcoal is falling to the bottom, and it was just covering in ash, and the charcoals were burning out. So that was an issue that we had to go through, but we ended up getting around it. As you can see, we're flipping the brisket now. I called it a brisket. I mean, it's a pork shoulder. But either way, we just flipped it, and look how gorgeous that thing looks, man. I'm doing pretty good for my first time, and let's go ahead and check the temperature. This is my first time checking the temperature. Look at that, 160 right on the dot. I think that was 2 hours in the smoker at an average of probably 275. So once the pork shoulder reaches an internal temperature of 160 degrees, go ahead and bring it inside, and you want to wrap it up in some foil. Only wrap it up about halfway because we're going to put some apple cider in. It sucks that they're both so small. I would recommend getting a bigger pork shoulder. If you do this, I will definitely be doing that next time. So I went ahead and poured the apple cider here, and man, I messed up. I did not wrap that good enough, and I noticed it. I'm over here going in panic mode. I was like, oh no, what do I do? What do I do? So I just threw a bunch more foil around it, and we're just going to call it good. And this one worked out pretty good, as you can see. So let's go ahead and take those outside. Look how much smoke is coming out of that smoker, dude. I'm very impressed by how this thing's working. So let's go ahead and put the pork shoulder on the grill. Let's try to keep an internal temperature of 250, preferably. I need it to go up, so I'm going to open the vents to get more airflow through the bottom and out the top. Let's check the temperature. This is about 2 hours later. We're at 175 probably. All right, this is about 30 minutes later. We're about 180. Oh. We're probably 190, but that hole, man, it caused my charcoal to burn out. I tried to scramble as much as I could together, and I was going to throw some more on there. I started blowing this, and oh my gosh, man. I breathed in so much of that. At this point, it's 2 o'clock. I realized that there's no point in doing this because the core temperature is already cooling down, so it is where it is at this point. So I went ahead and took it off the grill, brought it inside, and immediately started opening it. I regretted it. I folded it back up, and here's 30 minutes later, I'm unfolding it. Dumping out whatever juices I can because we're going to use those later. At this point, I realized that I have either undercooked the pork or I overcooked the pork, and I think due to the temperatures fluctuating as much as they were, and this one being as small as it is, it caused me to overcook the pork shoulder a bit. But there was still plenty of juices, and it looked amazing. It pulled apart fairly easy. It wasn't too complicated. All right, so we cooked the pulled pork. Now let's make a barbecue sandwich. First, let's get your buns, split them open, and then put a thin layer of butter on the buns. One thing I've noticed about toasting the buns like this is it softens them up, man. It's a lot better than just taking them out of the package and using them, so I'd really recommend doing this. Let's see how they look. A little longer. Ow, hot. All right, so while the buns are crisping up, let's go ahead and get some of the pork meat ready. Pour some barbecue sauce on it, and let's mix it all together. We got the buns toasted. I'd go ahead and say and add a generous amount of your barbecue. Look, don't worry about it. We're not stingy like other places. So after a short 6 hours, we finally got a pulled pork barbecue sandwich. We got a crispy bun. She's still steaming hot. Nice barbecue sauce. Let's go ahead and give this puppy a try. So after several bites out of this barbecue sandwich, I gotta tell you, Great Value Kitchen, y'all did an amazing job with this sandwich. The seasoning is amazing. You can tell you smoked it for several hours. Very professional cooking. I gotta say, man, I gotta give this a 9 out of 10. The pork was a little overcooked, but other than that, it's an amazing sandwich, and I will be back to the Great Value Kitchen. You best believe it. Thank you.